back to the podcast and to the solo travel series. Today we're talking about dating on the road. It's going to be a juicy one. Hello and welcome back to Live Your Best Life at 50. My name is Natalie, and in this series we're talking about travel as a solo woman. So stay tuned to hear all the juicy stories about dating while traveling. Yeah, it's a little bit of a juicy, interesting subject if you ask me. So let's start with a little backstory. So, being single and having a family and newly kind of single again, and, thinking on going on the road by yourself, you don't really, feel like you want to enjoy male company. But, how it goes, you chug along and you have your adventures, and somehow you probably come across somebody that might interest you in another way, because we're all human. And then there's the possibility of, the hookups. Even older people do hookups. It's not just reserved for the young folks out there. So, how you going to deal with that, right? Of course, you can't just have a strict policy with yourself saying, no, I'm not going to do any of that. I might enjoy friendship, companionship, maybe even have somebody traveling with you for a while. That is, a male. If you're a straight person, and if you're not, then, another woman or a guy, I guess, in this case. But I usually speak about women, so. Or are you open to, if you meet the person of your dreams, or somebody you just really would see yourself traveling long term, or spend the rest of your life with. Maybe you're just going to stay in that country that this person you met lives, and your travels are over, or not over, but you might stay there and figure out what you're going to do with your life from there. So there's different ways. So like I said, back in the old days, is you just by chance you met somebody, like at a restaurant, at a bar, or maybe some activity, on a tour, I don't know, at the museum, places like that. Or you can, of course, nowadays go online, and there's different sites, and especially Facebook has a lot of different groups now where locals from different cities in the world or regions can connect and meet people, which wasn't possible before. You had to put an ad in the paper. I remember those days. So it is very easy to find somebody you want to hang out with. And you can, you don't have to meet them in person right away. You can talk online for a while to see how comfortable you are to actually meet this person. Ask them the questions you want to ask them. Pre-screen them, so to say, to see if it's even a point to go on a date with them. Because sometimes we waste time to go on dates and find out that the person has nothing in common with you, or just doesn't fit your needs. Because in my experience, most guys don't put on their dating profiles a lot about themselves or what they want. Sometimes it's just kind of a silly, fun things about themselves, but not what they actually want out of life and what kind of state they're at. Some do, but not all of them. Some are very direct, which is good, and some are not. So, but in general, it's a little vague. The ones I've seen anyway. So yeah, you just have to decide which route do you want to go, or just altogether forget about it and don't want to go there at all. Just enjoy being solo, because isn't it the reason that you ended up being a solo traveler in the first place? Because you just enjoy the time to yourself. You don't, like I mentioned in the other podcasts episodes, that it's nice to do what you want. You can get up when you want, you can go to sleep when you want, you can go eat, drink where you want, don't shower if you don't want. Nobody gets on your nerves. You can leave your clothes all over the place, it doesn't matter. You can meet different people with no prejudice. You can be yourself. Obviously, if you're in the right relationship, and maybe at this age now we are at 50 plus, you get a little more accepting and trusting, and more give your partner more freedom, and because you enjoy your freedom, and so does he. And doesn't have to get jealous because you talk to another guy, or you maybe have even a activity you enjoy with somebody else that is male rather than with you, or the other way around, because you don't like doing that. But that doesn't mean the other person can't go and do that themselves. There's a lot of couples out there, they go travel separate, they don't even go together, but they might do a couple trips a year together. But sometimes, maybe one has to travel for work and can't always take the partner with them. So why can't the girlfriend or wife or partner just do their own travel, right? Like, if you get to a certain place in your life, you need to have someone that you can trust and let them live their life, as long as you're comfortable in your relationship and have a healthy relationship. That shouldn't be a problem. But of course, you have to establish that in the first place. Hey, if you like this episode and all the other episodes and the whole podcast, make sure you subscribe, like, follow, do all the things. It would mean the world to me to grow this community. So there is one travel couple. Actually, there's more than one, but there's one that is now in their 50s, I think. I don't know exactly how old they are, but they're in midlife. Both of them started traveling on their own. They were solo travelers. I think they traveled all different places in the world, and they ended both up in the Himalayan, I think, in Nepal. And they were I don't know if they were in the early 30s or late 20s, something like that. I think one was from New Zealand, the other one was from England, the UK. And they met there, and then they decided to keep on traveling together. And they are still together after, I don't know if it's 30 years or probably 30 years, and they traveled all over the world and they made it work. So they just, they met and that was it. Pretty romantic. They just had the same outlook on life and the same, they enjoyed the same lifestyles, I guess, traveling, full-time travel. I think once in a while they go back to their countries, like one, together, and work to make money to afford traveling. So they're very frugal. They might even have roommates, and so they can, travel together all over the world, because traveling does not mean you have to spend a lot of money. It's not that way at all. But nowadays with the internet, you can even, I mean, they met before the internet, but nowadays with the internet, you can work on the road. You have a computer and an internet. So depending what job you have, you can work on the road. So that doesn't have to, now you don't really have to go back to work unless that's what you enjoy and you just like to go back to your home country and visit your relatives to save money and go back to travel. So, but so far they decided not to have children. I don't know. They never discussed why they don't have children. Either they just didn't want children because they just enjoyed traveling without kids, or maybe they couldn't have kids. I have no idea. I mean, that doesn't really matter. All that matters is they're together after 30 years still. And I'm sure they're not perfect. I'm sure they don't agree on everything all the time, but they make it work. And yeah, I think that's amazing. I wish more people would have that experience, but that doesn't always happen. So I'm just saying, if you travel, there's always a chance you meet somebody that shares the same passions and lifestyle that you desire. So let's say you want to go the online dating route, and it's a pretty kind of a, let's say, shit show out there. In my experience anyway, it's pretty hard to sift through all the possibilities, let's say it in a nice way. Even like I had a lot of conversations with guys. They went very well. Talked about all kinds of stuff. Talked about, what we want out of relationships, and had more deeper conversation than just, oh, what do you have for breakfast? Or how did your day go? No. But after a week, 2, or even a month sometimes, of talking to or texting to maybe once or twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, they just disappear. Some of them live fairly close, like within an hour or 2, which is not too far for Canadian standards, because we're so far apart. So it's difficult. Plus, where I live, it's very sparsely populated. So it's hard to find somebody you haven't known yet for the last 30 years. So, anywho's, and some of them were farther away, but they knew that I'm moving and traveling, and some of them, yes, they just couldn't fathom to go. They didn't want to travel. They didn't understand how somebody could do something. Some of them had commitments, children, even when they were older. They couldn't think that they would ever want to be away from them, even though they were like, early 20s or late teens. And others just rudely just ghosted. That's the love. I love that one. And then I had some of them, I had FaceTime them, or we FaceTime each other, and I couldn't barely look at them. I had this bad, weird vibe, like I just wanted to get away, just wanted to turn it off, and like, cringy, trying to be nice. So after that, I usually just turn it off and say, okay, that was, thanks for, taking the time to talk to me. And then I just had to turn it off. And of course, I had to block them, because I just, there was no point of going any further. I didn't want to be rude and say, I'm sorry, I can't look at you. It has nothing to do with that person. It has to do with me. So then there's, that's one other one. And then there's some people that are weird. They leave you voice messages, and then you answer them and say, okay, so, tell me about yourself. And then they want to know stuff about you, and you tell them all about you, and then they don't tell you anything about themselves. I'm like, what's that about? Okay. Can you just say, well, I'm not interested? That's, pretty simple. No, just never get back. Okay, I guess you got issues. I mean, yeah, I can't not speak for them too. I hope they get to their senses, or they heal, I guess, because something is obviously not working for them. And then you meet the guys. Again, you talk to them. They're nice. You have a lot in common. Like really a lot in common, not just surface things. Then you would say, okay, well, let's visit each other. We want to, make a month from now, maybe I'm going to come and visit you for a week or two or whatever. I'm going to have time off. First, they're all excited. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. And then they get scared and say, well, I don't even know. Maybe I don't have time, or maybe that's going to happen. I don't, blah, blah, blah. They make all kinds of excuses. And they're not sure. Then I ask a question. Well, do you actually want to get to know somebody? Did you actually want a relationship? And then they say, well, I guess not. I guess I decided at this time I don't really want a long-term relationship. I just want to date. Like, okay. And then, which is very strange, because you have a good connection with them. You spent, invested time. You, well, sort of development feeling, maybe not like love feelings or anything, but you enjoy talking to them and you enjoy their company, right? You become friends, and that's usually the first layer. And, you're on a dating site, so why are you not want to meet me? But I think that one person in particular, I think that actually the good thing is about he didn't want to meet me because he might have not wanted to commit, even though he liked me, because he just has this weird pact with himself that he doesn't want to date for a year. Sorry, how can I get in a relationship for a year? So maybe I was too important for him. I was too important, so he didn't want to use me that way, I guess. So, and we still stayed friends. Once in a while he checks in and I check in what he's doing, but yeah. I mean, that's good. You have a friend. It's not, but most of us don't really need any other friends. Nobody needs anybody. We should just, love ourselves and be happy who we are. And having somebody else in your life is just a bonus, and just nice to share your passions and your experiences in life. But especially when you get older, it's just nice to have somebody around, because you don't have your kids 24/7 anymore. If you have kids, yeah, it's just nice to share. But anyway, yeah, usually people on a dating site didn't want somebody that they can be with, and I think all of these men, they're fooling themselves, thinking, oh yeah, we're just gonna date. Yeah, but what's gonna happen when you're in 10 years? You're still gonna just date when you're 60, and maybe not, you have no hair left, and have I don't know, your body just kind of gives in. You can be the healthiest person, but most people aren't, so eventually you're not that attracted anymore, and then good luck finding somebody that will stick by you or wants you at this point. I mean, this is kind of rude, but it's true, so I don't know. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So, I mean, I know there's people that meet in the 70s or 60s, so that's, yeah, I'm just not that way. I dated when I was in my 20s, and I don't really need that anymore. It's a headache to every time start all over again, do the whole dating thing, and then even if you just have sex, you still feel like you need to kind of bond with them. I don't know. Yeah, it's exhausting. That's not for me, but maybe it's for other people. So I guess if you're that kind of person that really don't want a full-time relationship or a long-term relationship, that's fine. I guess you can do dating, and you can go on the dating apps or the dating groups and just say, hey, this is what I want, and I'm going to be there for that time, and if you like let's go for a drink and hook up, I guess. So that's just not my cup of tea, and I don't know, maybe it's yours. But there's definitely of course, there's still the old-fashioned way you go to the bar and see what happens. Or dance hall. I think there's still some countries where you travel, they still got like dance events going on. You can go dance or go to the club. I don't know, there's some clubs that are let older people in, not just young. Younger generations, I don't know. I'm not in that group of people that go clubbing. So yeah, you have lots of possibilities. And I think it's important because we need to socialize. Even me, I'm an introvert. I still like to socialize once in a while. Not as much as maybe an extrovert or your in-between person, but yeah, we all need human contact, especially after these 2 years of being locked up. So it's good to have other humans around. So that's about my 5 cents to this whole dating. And I think you can enjoy it and you just have fun and you don't care. That's fine too. That could be part of your travel experience. Why not? You only live once, and if that's what you like to do, go ahead. No problem. You can listen to these podcasts on all the popular podcast apps under Enjoy Your Best Life at 50. Go check it out. Yeah, so next time we're probably going to talk about getting close to my, it's going to be 3 more months before I travel. So we'll see how I have to organize my life. We'll see if I can make a podcast about that. And I also need to make a video organizing my clothes. I'm probably going to video because there's not much you can see. But might be some more organization about all the stuff I'm going to take with me. That's probably going to be a podcast. All the essentials I want to take with me and I need to take with me. I really have to think about it and make a list. And yeah, I might be able to share that and expand that on a little bit. And if you guys have a question, please leave a comment down below. If you have a comment for any good or bad what I just said, please leave it down below. And subscribe to all the different places where you can hear this podcast. Please do so. It would help me to get the word out there on live your best life over 50. Here and see you next time.